You keep asking which school is true, like arguing iOS versus Android while ignoring the job you need the phone to do. Buddhism is one engine with 3 OS builds: Theravada, bare metal precision; Mahayana, networked compassion at scale; Vajrayana, hardware acceleration with admin rights. Same kernel, impermanence, no self, misfit, path, different defaults, different risks. Choose by function, not vibes, or you'll soft brick your life and blame Buddhism. Theravada is a server in a windowless room. Quiet, locked down, nothing runs unless it reduces heat. It privileges ethics and attention over feelings. The deliverable is stability under pressure. Mahayana is a cloud OS, designed for many users, latency tolerant, built around service guarantees. It scales compassion from kitchen to city hall and rewrites me as we. Vajrayana is an overclocked workstation. It turns the raw poisons, lust, anger, pride, into fuel with ritual, symbol, and a root-privileged mentor. It ships fast if you know what you're doing. If you don't, you fry the board and call it mysticism. Here's the heresy. Most fights between schools are brand protection, not dharma. They argue boot animations while ignoring metrics, less reactivity, quicker repair, cleaner speech, harm reduced for people you'll never meet. If your lineage wins debates but loses Tuesdays, it's theatre. If your guru gives you fireworks but your partner still can't count on you, that's not tantra, it's dopamine cosplay. We're going to strip the marketing down to mechanics. What's the kernel? Where do the configs differ? What are the common security modules, precepts, vows, samaya? Where do exploits live? Purity theatre, compassion cosplay, guru capture? No incense, no hymns. If your favorite OS can't survive a penetration test, pick another or stop pretending you care about truth more than aesthetic. Same Buddha. 3 firmware builds. Tonight we stop asking which is right and ask which works here now for this harm. Pick with courage. Install with care. Monitor the logs. I'm Silent Flame. Bring your device to the bench. Theravada is minimalism with teeth. Vinaya as process isolation. Precepts as firewalls. Breath as the simplest, most reliable clock in the system. You don't optimize feelings, you optimize conduct and attention. The boast isn't ecstasy, it's repeatability. Sit, sweep, confess, sleep, repeat, until cravings, CPU, spikes no longer crash. The OS strengths auditability. You can inspect practice without mystique. Sila, ethics, samadhi, stability, panya, discernment, low attack surface. Few rituals, less charisma, more chores. Latency, tolerance, boring on purpose, so insight becomes normal, not a festival. When it works, you get humans who don't spill their pain on others and don't turn their virtue into content. Shadows, purity theatre. Retreat into seclusion as a dodge from responsibility. Aesthetic dryness that confuses no drama with no care. Householder amnesia, advice tuned for monastics shipped to parents with toddlers and night shifts. And the worst bug, using renunciation to justify disappearance from hard rooms where your calm could actually reduce harm. Theravada's question isn't, are you blissful? It's, is your speech cleaner? Are promises kept? Do strangers relax near you? If not, stop reciting Pali at your reflection and fix your scheduler. Sleep, food, service, silence, honesty. It's not sexy because stability rarely is. That's why it's beautiful. Mahayana looked at the server in the basement and said, "Great, now serve the city." It adds a distributed architecture, emptiness as the protocol that lets parts cooperate, Bodhisattva vow as uptime SLA for beings. The UI is warmer, Canon/Avalokiteshvara for fear, Jizo for grief, Manjushri's blade for delusion. Symbols aren't decorations. They are user interfaces for hard functions. Strengths, scalability. It turns meditation into social infrastructure. Clinics, hospice, translation, conflict mediation. Resilience, emptiness, parts, causes, concepts, prevents dogma, ossification, and opens creative upaya, skillful means when the textbook fails. Inclusion, lay people aren't donors, they're operators. Shadows, compassion theatre. Vows as virtue debt that others must pay. Endless project that becomes an excuse to avoid finishing anything. Upaya abused as alibi. Rules are empty, so are boundaries. That way lies charismatic chaos. And the algorithm loves tears. Suddenly, service is a brand, and the people become content. Real Mahayana isn't hashtags. It's boring reliability for others. Meals delivered, roofs repaired, policies rewritten. No parade. Keep the mythos. Ditch the cosplay. Emptiness doesn't dissolve responsibility. It dissolves ego drama so responsibility can move. Vajrayana sees your poison and says, don't delete, compile. Desire becomes deity yoga, aimed, not indulged. Aversion becomes wrathful clarity, surgical, not abusive. Pride becomes vastness, space, not status. Mantra is interrupt handler. Mandala is memory palace. Guru is root. Done right, it's a time to insight reduction that terrifies your habits and makes your ethics faster. Strengths, speed via specificity. Rich toolchain for different minds. Embodiment, ritual, breath, gaze, sound. Multiple input channels syncing the nervous system. Integration. Nothing human is outside scope. The whole zoo is welcomed and trained. Shadows, privilege, escalation. Root without governance becomes a cult OS. Aesthetic intoxication. Power costumes, secret law, status ladders, Samaya, sacred bond, misused to silence harm reporting, crazy wisdom as a hall pass for plain old abuse, and the most common, mistaking peak states for durable traits. Vajrayana's truth, power amplifies whatever it touches. If your ethics are weak, mantra makes you worse faster. If your teacher can't say, I don't know, and publish a budget, pull the plug. No deity will save you from governance. Beneath the branding is the kernel. Misfit, dukkha arises when glue meets weather. Processes, anatta, not statues run you. Conditions, paticca samuppada, assemble experience. Training, ethics, stability, discernment, reconfigures, reflexes. All three OS airs ship this kernel. They differ in defaults and tooling. Package managers, sutta, sutra, Tantra, repositories of patterns, not prisons. File system, emptiness, no file is self-existent. All are symlinks. Parts, causes, names. Scheduler, eightfold path assigns CPU to speech, action, livelihood, effort, mindfulness, concentration with view, intent, pinning priorities. Security modules, precepts, C Linux for desire, bodhisattva vows, network policies for service. Samaya, root contract for speed. If a school denies the kernel, it's not Buddhism, it's cosplay. If your allegiance to an interface makes you forget the engine, you're worshipping the skin while the motor seizes. Audit with one question. Does this config reduce heat beyond my timeline and tribe? Keep what passes, patch or purge what fails. Every operating system needs security. Theravada's precepts sandbox harm at source. No killing, stealing, sexual misconduct, false speech, intoxication, process isolation for appetite. Mahayana adds network constraints, speech/action that protect the many, even when the self would prefer purity naps. Vajrayana adds root contracts, samaya, tight bindings that let power move safely or not. Exploits, purity exploit, weaponizing precepts to avoid messy service. I'm clean, therefore complete. Compassion exploit, laundering controllers care. Boundaries are ego, obey for the sake of all. Root exploit, guru charisma disables logging. Victims get told their pain is karmic purification. Patch set, transparency, grievance channels, rotation of power, budgets on paper, sleep and food protected like precepts, external audits. If your temple can't show logs, it's not mystical, it's unsafe. Remember, security isn't suspicion, it's love organized. If a lineage calls oversight worldly, it's announcing its attack surface. Stop asking for the one true OS. Ask what hurts here, who's around me, what resources exist. Single parent, scarce sleep, high stress, Theravada defaults, breath precepts, tiny reliable windows, stabilize, borrow Mahayana's mutual aid, ignore tantric fireworks until sleep debt is paid. Organizer/clinician, moral injury, Mahayana's vow maps to your city. Use Theravada's form to not collapse. Add small Vajrayana pieces, sound, visualization for state shifts under load. Artist, athlete with strong discipline, Vajrayana's precision can transmute drives, but only with Theravada's firewall and Mahayana's humility. Academic skeptic, Mahayana emptiness clarifies conceptual traps. Theravada keeps you embodied. Vajrayana only if you can keep governance visible. Burned by gurus, start Theravada. Add community light with Mahayana. Let tantric aesthetics be art, not authority. Hybrid builds win. Purity kills. Your metric, fewer avoidant spirals, faster repairs, neighbors better off. If your path can't be measured in boring improvements, it's just a story you like telling. You don't need another sermon. You need ops. Stop defending brands. Start running the system. Pick an OS by the harms it reduces, not the aura it emits. Schedule patches, sleep, food, confession. Monitor logs, speech that lands, promises kept. Rotate keys. No one person with root forever. If a feature dazzles but doesn't lower heat beyond your mirror, it's malware. Uninstall. Theravada gives the kernel stability. Mahayana gives the network reach. Vajrayana gives the processor thrust. Keep all three on the bench, boot the one that serves this room, then shut up and ship relief. The Buddha didn't ask for fans, he asked for operators. I'm silent flame. If you must worship, worship what works under fluorescent lights at 3 a.m. Everything else is a boot animation.